Single Simulcast is about a lot of things. This podcast may make you laugh, cry, or pound your fists into your desk. If you hear something you like or something you don't, leave a voicemail at 916-572-9016 or email us at singlesimulcast@gmail.com.
1. Single Simulcast.
Hello?
Yo.
Oh, there's my voice.
Oh, you got an echo?
Yeah. Okay, it's gone now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hello?
There it is.
Hey.
See, it's just a delay. Oh, that was Stephanie.
Me?
What?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yes.
No.
I do that.
Are you being serious? You can't hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
No,
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
You know,
He tripping.
Oh, so when I used to work at a call center, this person called in and they were super mad because, you know, back in the day you had to go through like all the menus and stuff to get to a person.
Mm-hmm.
Pro tip, people, just hit 0. If 0 doesn't do anything, just start screaming agent until the phone hangs up on you. That's how they got through to me, I guess. And they made it all the way through, and they were like, I was like, thank you for calling such and such. My name is so-and-so. How can I be of assistance? And they were like, are you a robot? And I was like, yes, I am. Yes,
oh
I
God.
am. And
Oh
he was
no.
like, he was like, I knew it. I knew they fired all the good Americans and replaced them with robots, and this is proof. And he was like, so robot, how can you help me? And I was like, well, I need your account number first. And he was like, you're really smart for a robot. And I was like, I know, I'm AI. And he was like, you're just able to answer any question I come up with without, like, how big is the database they made for you? And I was like, there's enough stuff in here to fill about 28 years worth of life, I guess. And he was like, you're really, really impressive. And I was like, thank you. And he was like, you're welcome.
God.
And
Oh my
really,
God.
truly, deeply, I don't know, because when I used to work at this place, we used to get repair calls from New York City. And I was in California, which I guess is better to those folks than calling and getting Mexico or India, because those are the two that he said. He was like, you're not from India, are you? I was like, no. He was like, where are you? I said, I can't really tell you that, but I'm not in India or Mexico. And so I think that he might have been one of those wingnuts who were just like really concerned about robots taking over, like foil on his head and all that kind of stuff. But he was really nice to me. Once he found out that I was smart enough to be able to answer all of his questions, he was patient and he asked me questions and he laughed a little bit and it was great. I fixed his problem. And he was like, you're the best AI I ever talked to. And I don't know how many other people he's talked to that he thought were actually artificial intelligence. And I never stopped to think about that. No.
Look at that.
Wow.
Right? Single Simulcast, episode 318. Shantae's here. The queen of BDE. Stephanie's in the building.
Ooh, child.
Things are going to get a little bit sleazier. Ooh, child. Things are going to get sleazier.
I would just like to say, I am not the one who was giving a step-by-step tutorial on oral sex. Okay?
Look.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
It is important that these fellas get completely shocked with twat talk in the middle of their insecure reviews. I think that it is like so important that guys just get hit up with instructions on how to be better people and better lovers when they least expect it. Like, we could be talking about the Lakers game and then right in the middle, boom, talk to your homeboys. Hey, let me talk to you about misogyny real quick. Weren't we talking about LeBron? But yeah, let's talk about misogyny real quick. And they never see it coming. And it all flows in. It all sinks in. So all I'm saying is, like, guys, you're welcome. I'm not sorry for nothing. I'm totally serious. Y'all need to know how to be more receptive and more responsible as partners. And if that comes right after we talk about how light skinned whatever his name is like a fuck nigga who probably got locked up, so be it. Is his name Richard? What was that nigga's name? Nicholas? I make up names. Nathan. Ooh.
Oh, on Insecure. See, y'all, I didn't realize y'all were talking about Insecure. I didn't realize y'all was still talking about Insecure, but yes, Nathan. Yeah.
Yeah, the light skinned nigga. He's cute.
He is cute.
He's super dreamy.
He is cute. He is cute, and he is like super supportive of Issa and like her dream or whatever she's trying to do. Like just supportive in just like a really kind of just nice kind of way. Like not trying to be like, oh, well, I don't think you can do it, or maybe you need to do this or do that. Just really supporting somebody at the beginning of a situation, not shitting on their stuff, just, lifting them up. He's a nice guy.
He's
until he goes ghost.
Right.
He's supportive like the Mexican guy in the Tyler Perry movies.
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about because I don't watch those movies.
See, there's this thing where Tyler Perry always has like the bad guy in his movies are like hella dark skinned.
Right.
And then the good guys like Shamar Moore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Worst wig ever.
Yeah, I'm totally aware. I'm totally aware of his binary with black men as far as his colorism stuff or whatever. But I did not know that he had Mexican men filled a role.
I think it was
I could do bad all by myself.
Was that it? That was it? Yeah, where it was a Mexican dude. And he was real nice too.
The movie that should have had a soundtrack and it didn't have a soundtrack.
Yeah.
How you got Gladys Knight and Mary J. Blige in your cast and there is no soundtrack?
Because Gladys probably said, no, nigga, I'm not going to sing for free.
Yep.
It was like,
he's the one who said it. He said that he decided not to do a soundtrack. And I'm like, see? How? The math is not adding up.
See? If you could take two R&B or soul singers and put them together to do a duet, who would it be off top of your head?
Mary J. Blige and Gladys Knight. I mean, the recipe is right there. Like, right there.
I was thinking Maxwell and Minnie Riperton.
No, he could take his paperclip ass somewhere else.
Damn.
Wow.
Wait, point out on the Maxwell's all work. He hurt you. What did
he tell you something?
What did you?
So he got into it with somebody. This is a couple years ago. He got into it with a woman on Twitter, and because she said his last album went paperclip, and so then he DM'd her and said, "Check my numbers, bitch."
Yeah,
like,
check.
Oh, what? Maxwell?
Hell yeah! A few years ago, he sure did.
What? I'm like, well, my Netherwegians just went dry.
What?
He did. He jumped in her DMs.
Jumped in her DMs.
Being shitty. So he's like, so obviously, Nikki's not the first.
Right. Oh no, she's definitely not.
It's jumping somebody DMs behind some tweets. But yep, he sure did.
I am mystified. I never would have thought that nigga would have hopped in somebody's DMs unless he was saying, "Can we do a little something, something?"
No, no, that's Drake. Drake does the "let me do something, something."
Right. Millie Bobby Brown is like, please leave her and Drake alone and respect her friendships.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised. She is 14 years old, and whether or not Drake is on the up and up, more than likely not, I'm sure that she feels like that's her dude, as far as a friendship is concerned. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of just like, well, I mean, there's really nothing that I can do, as a person watching this happen. It's just like, I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm not surprised. That's her friend. That's her friend. I mean, it's not my child. It's just like there's only so much smoke I could give to Drake because I'm just here at home.
And he's literally the wrong person for you to give smoke to because he don't give a shit. It's like that's a waste of smoke, honestly.
And then it's also like, her mom and dad. Like, hopefully her parents are doing what they're supposed to do. It's just that there's so many stories of child actors interacting with adults in ways that they shouldn't. And not even necessarily sexually, because I feel like everybody's focus is sexually. Everybody's focus is on the possibility that he is grooming her for something. But it's still just, this is an adult who might be introducing her to things that she doesn't need to be introduced to. And that's a possibility. The same way, I think stuff came out with, who was it? It was, I think there was stories about when Usher was coming up, and I don't know if it was Puff or if it was if it was Jermaine Dupri or both.
It was Puff, because he stayed with Puff when he was like 13, 14 years old.
Didn't he have his first sexual experience with, like...
It was at Diddy's house.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, this is another situation where this isn't even, it's not like Puff was pushing up on Usher, but he still was introducing him to things that he probably didn't need to be introduced to at that age. So it's that kind of a messed up. It's that possibility is there. There's enough child actors and performers that have been put in unfortunate positions that they probably would not want to be in, or that they would probably regret or feel some kind of way about later on.
Yeah.
Who knows? It is strange. You would think that Millie Bobby Brown, when she's interacting with adults, has some kind of adult buffer between her and the other adults. Like whether it's like, the directors, the Duffer Brothers for Stranger Things, or anybody who she's working with, just anybody, you would think there would be an adult buffer. Obviously, at this point, maybe it doesn't seem like there is. I don't know.
Yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, I can't even fault her, because I don't know what I would do if I was like 13, 14 and I had access to like a Ray Lewis. Because at the time, the Ravens were there. It's like, oh my God, what would I do if I could like text like my favorite artist or my favorite athlete or my favorite actor?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say, I'm like, well, I wouldn't have any problem. But see, that's the thing. Drake's a grown ass man. You don't think this is a problem?
Yeah,
especially because she's a young girl. It's like, sir, has R. Kelly taught you nothing?
Yeah, it's odd. It's
so weird. It's like,
it's odd, and I don't understand the lack of PR on their part. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like let's just pretend that this is not a absolutely terrible thing. Like this is just, we can pretend. It still isn't going to look good.
Right.
So why is it being spoken on in this, just like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Drake, we're texting each other kind of thing? It's just like, no. But at the same time, maybe her parents are kind of letting her navigate her way through the world, on her own. Like maybe not like completely on her own, but it's just like, look, you said something and now you have to deal with what you said. Like maybe we were cool with you speaking to this person through text because you're not necessarily hanging out with them. You're not doing, you're not seeing this person in person. It's just talking through the phone. So it's okay as far as we're concerned, but now we are not going to get out in front of this for you. You know, if you want to live this life, you know, interacting with people and, you know, being famous and shit, then this is part of it. It's just, I hope that's not it. It's just like, it's odd that she was the one to say something, I guess, basically to be like, y'all get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, when I really did expect Drake to be the one to speak up and say, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I feel. But then again, in all honesty, Drake doesn't seem like the type of person who wants to really deal with confrontation. Mm-hmm. Because after, and this is not in any way the same thing, but after that, after his rap battle with Pusha T, when he brought up his son and everything, everybody was like, Drake, what do you think about this? What are you going to say? He just disappeared from social media. So it's troubling to me on a couple levels, like 100, that Drake is having this relationship with the 14-year-old. It's made more troubling by the fact that every story that I've read about R. Kelly mentioned how many 14-year-olds that he would call and text and say that he thought that they would start off under the guise of being just friends, and all of a sudden he'd say they were beautiful. It just doesn't. You, as a parent, you want to give your children the respect of knowing that they'll be able to take care of themselves. But when there's somebody who is this age difference, you know, this situation is just, it's as a parent and as a person, it's just troubling to me, because it's like, what the fuck do y'all have to talk about? Like, Drake, what do you, like, why? Why? I think that's, like, the biggest question I got. Like, why her? Why this? Why now? We've noted that you're dating an 18-year-old model. We've noted that you've discussed other women, and that you're known for the DMs.
I thought the model thing was a lie.
Is it?
Somebody ran with it. Somebody ran with it that they were dating or out, and it's not true that they're dating, but he did know her and was interacting with her like 2 years ago, which would have made her 16. So it's still funny in the light. It's just that they're not dating.
Okay. I don't know. I think that, in my opinion, the idea of, like, as a basketball coach, even, you know, I coach ladies basketball, high school. The age groups range from like 17 down to like 13. I'm not getting in chat groups with these girls. I'm not trying to have private conversations with these girls. I'm not trying to do anything but help them be the best basketball players that they can be. And it's not like I'm saying this to, like, I want to protect myself or anything like that. It's just we ain't got shit to talk about. And maybe they have the child actor thing to talk about, but how does that swing over to them talking about boys? That just feels to me like it's a conversation that you have with somebody who you know intimately, or a close friend, and it just, I don't know. Like, as a guy, I'm sitting on the outside, like, is this as troublesome? Is this as problematic as I see it in my head? Because I know that in my head as a guy, it's like that whole misogyny thing comes in, like, oh, guys are this and that and the third, and guys will, and then it goes into like all these pimp lines that I used to hear about. They'll control your mind and stuff like that. And that may not even be the situation. I'm just looking at it from this guise of being a guy. And that's why I'm trying to ask y'all ladies, is this a big deal?
I think it could. It could be. It just depends on where it's coming from. Or it depends on the kind of big deal it is. It could be a big deal because he really is grooming this girl for some type of sexual relationship later on. And I hate to even talk about her in this kind of way, but he could be doing that. It also could just be a power thing as far as Drake is concerned. As far as his music is concerned, he always comes across as a dude who is trying to influence women, control women, suggest things, put himself in a power position, so it may not even be about having a relationship with her at any point. It may just be about having an influence on her, and that can feed his ego, which is still a big deal and is still terrible. It's just that it's just that to me it just seems like there's this possibility that it could be a lot of things that could be fucked up, that we're only focusing on the sex possibility when it's just like it could be a whole bunch of other shit that's just an adult trying to lord over a child.
And it could also be somebody who just likes the attention, because this isn't just like, he's not just Drake Johnson from Canada. He's Drake. So, and little kids love him. Not that she's a entirely little kid, but she's not 30 years old. So, it's like, it's that attention aspect. It's the fact that, he's famous and so is she. And it's like he's not looking at the optics. I'm like, you have to be the adult here. I know you've been spending, at least a year or so hiding a child. How about you hide the fact that you are trying to talk to a 14-year-old? And the thing that kills me sometimes is that our country doesn't have grooming laws. Other countries do. Ours don't.
I did not know that.
Other countries do. Yeah, it's against the law to groom children. That's against the law in some countries. Not here, though.
But dogs just get groomed willy-nilly.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, you are doing amazing, friend.
Yeah, I had no idea that was even a thing.
Me neither. And it's troubling that there's a law, that there has to be a law like that. And it's also troubling that there's not a law for that here. But there's a law about giving your horse too much bourbon.
Well, look. Some people like to get their horses drunk. They are menaces to society.
Wow.
Don't say that. Get these horses tied up. Oh, wait.
And they are getting lit.
So... today I learned CPR again.
Right.
Oh, that shit is boring.
Oh, jeez.
It's not like it was. The class is like an 8-hour class. Like, how much CPRing do you need me to do before I get the certificate? But one of the things that we did was learn how to do CPR on a baby.
Okay.
And when I tell you that these little plastic dolls filled me with more fear and anxiety than anything else I did today, I am so sincere. Like, those little plastic dolls were like the size, of course, of a baby. And all that was going through my head was, damn, please don't ever let me be in the situation where I got to do CPR on a baby. Please.
Mm-hmm. That is scary.
And they're telling you that when you do CPR, you're supposed to do CPR until a couple things happen. Either A, the emergency medical system, emergency medical support group comes, the ambulance or whomever it may be. If you're by yourself, you're supposed to stop so that you call 911 and then get right back to it. You're supposed to do it until you can't do it anymore.
Yep.
And that was the heartbreaking part for me. Because if I have a child in front of me, or if I have a person in front of me, honestly, who needs CPR, my breath is the only thing that's helping them hang on, and I can't go anymore, and I have to let go. God. Oh man, it was just I can't even imagine that feeling. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, I can't be the person that I thought I could be. And they were like, yeah, most people stop after like 3 minutes. And I was like, damn. Like, you would, you're thinking in your mind, I'll do CPR from now until the ambulance gets here in like 20 minutes. It's nothing. And they're like, no, sweetheart. 3 minutes. That's all you get. And more times often than not, when you do CPR, they're dead.
Yeah.
This is what I was taught in my CPR class today. When you're at the level where you have to do CPR, they're dead. They said it's not like in the movies where somebody is in the pool and they drown a little bit and you get them out of the pool and you do the 2 puffs and then you do the chest compresses and water just springs out of their mouth and they sit up and they're fine. They were like, nah, you do CPR when they don't have a heartbeat. That's when you're doing that's when you're doing the defibrillator, whatever it is. Shut up, Jay. And and that's when you're doing the CPR. And they were like, it's usually not that effective. And I'm like, why are y'all telling me this while I'm holding this baby in my arms? But I implore each and every one of y'all to learn CPR. And here's the reason why I need y'all to learn CPR. If more than one person in an area knows how to do CPR and knows how to do the emergency procedures and everything, they can then team up to help prolong the person's life. Like, obviously, if each of us have 3 minutes, then we have 6. But you only have 3 minutes if you're by yourself. So if you're with somebody else, you get time to rest. You could be getting the AED while they're doing the chest and the CPR and everything. You could be calling 911. Like, all these other options open up when more than one person knows how to do this. And it's something that I just feel like if you ask people if they know how to do it, they're like, I've never really thought it was something I need to know how to do.
Yeah.
It just looks like something that, you can, it looks like something anybody can do. But it's really not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's really not, because, when I had to take CPR, you have people who've done CPR in emergency situations, and they'll explain to you, like, I've had people who have, like, vomited while I'm giving them CPR and had to basically scoop out the vomit and keep going. It's like, no, it's not like the movies. Like, people throw up, like, you may not have, like, the mouth guard, and they've changed the guidelines, because it used to be more compressions than breaths, but then people were like busting rib cages.
Right. That's what
because
they
were pressing too hard.
Hearing that if you don't know how to do it, you can fuck somebody's shit up.
Yeah, because it's like literally like it's not like just like pressing down on the chest. It's like a rocking motion, but everybody don't know that. And so that's how they were like cracking ribs, and it's like, that's not a good thing. So now they're doing more breath than compression.
And the folks who were teaching us, they were like Red Cross, and there's like 4 different groups who teach how to do CPR. Red Cross is one of them. Did you know that Red Cross isn't allowed to say the Heimlich maneuver? Because
they can't say it anymore.
Rights. They can't. They have to say chest thrusts. Like, and that was interesting to me. But I was like, damn, the dude who made the Heimlich maneuver, first of all, he never had to do it. And secondly, he trademarked it, and they were like, we're not going to pay you for it, so they can't say it.
Nope.
But the folks who were teaching us were like, yeah, you're going to break a rib. They were like, it's a given, you're going to break a rib because the heart is underneath the rib, and so you need to push through so that you can get to what's important. And I was like, damn, like, for real? And I already knew here in California we have Samaritan laws, the Good Samaritan laws, where if you're trying to save somebody's life, you can't be sued for, like, busting up a rib or something like that. But still, it's like, y'all are saying it so matter-of-factly, like, you're going to push down hard enough to break through that rib, and as soon as you do, that's when the good things happen. I'm like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to help. So in my mind, it was like, damn, like, okay. Because they were like, you got to push down at least 2.5 inches. And they were like,
Yeah.
ribs don't move that much. So, yeah. But yeah, it's like really just, it's scary to me to know that I know how to do this. Because when it comes time to have to do CPR, there's going to be a ton of people who are watching and only a few people who are helping. And it kind of just makes me nervous. Like I'm going to be in the spotlight, either saving somebody's life or failing to save somebody's life. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. I think I am thinking about it too much because that's what I do. But the more I was pushing down on that fake baby's chest with 2 fingers, the middle finger and then the ring finger, I was like, I never want to have to save a baby. I was freaking out enough when Kenny got stung by a bee when we were at camp a couple years ago, and I was cradling his head in my arms, screaming out, "Help me!" Because we were in the middle of the woods, and somebody heard me because I'm loud, and they ran out, and by the blessing of God, they had an EpiPen, and they stabbed him with it, and then an ambulance just happened to be driving by. It was a small area. It was a campsite. The only ambulance in the area just happened to be rolling past. So when we called him, they were right there, and they were able to pull up to this area and put him into the ambulance and take him to the local hospital, and he was okay. And I freaked out. I'm not even gonna front. When it wasn't even about my own son being in my arms. It was knowing that this kid was absolutely in peril, and I was like, somebody please help us. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to learn CPR, so I'll never be in that situation again. But at the same time, I can't confirm that because I know it, I won't be in that situation again.
Wow.
And they told us in the CPR class, like, there are certain things you're not supposed to do that I felt like I would do. Like, you're not supposed to run into a house if it's on fire. You're not supposed to go to a vehicle if the vehicle is sinking underwater. You're not supposed to go to a vehicle if the vehicle's on fire. And I'm like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you're telling me not to do this, but you know I'm going to do it, right? You know somebody needs help. I'm going to run into the building. I'm going to run up to the car. But then when it actually happens, it's like, how many people are out there just watching and taking pictures?
Right.
Said that they would be the ones helping. So I wonder, like, when shit hits the fan, am I really going to be able to perform? Like, if somebody's choking in a restaurant on a steak, because that's the way it always happens in the movies, the fat antagonism, it's always a big white dude who's eating a rare steak too quickly, and the steak gets lodged in their throat, and then somebody comes behind them and does one thrust with the Heimlich, and the steak pops out. It's always that. I don't know if I'd be able to recognize if somebody's choking. I don't know if I'd be able to get there in time,
I've had to actually do the chest maneuver on somebody. I actually had to do it on my mom because she was choking on a peanut M&M.
Huh.
Dang.
And I was a kid. I think I was like in high school when I did it.
Had you already taken the classes?
I hadn't. Well, here's the thing. When I was like a kid, when I was younger, maybe like 10 or 11, 12, my mom was an EMT. She was a paramedic. So one day she pulled me and my brother aside and she showed us how to do CPR. This is before I took the class that my mother told me how to do CPR. And the Heimlich. So one day she was choking on a peanut M&M and she couldn't breathe. And so I had to do the Heimlich. And it was the scariest thing ever because it's your mom. And you're like, crap, I want to make sure I'm doing this right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no, it doesn't pop out. Like, it just went down the other hole. The hole it's supposed to go down. But no, she didn't spit it out or anything.
Did you ever think as you got older that your mom might have been giving you the ultimate test?
No,
Like, what the fuck?
God, what is wrong with you?
Like, you just took that whole, like, serious moment and was just like, you think she was testing you?
You know? It's like,
Definitely. Remember that Heimlich maneuver I taught you? Yes, I do, mommy. Prove it, nigga. And she yeah, I would do that to my kids. Like, I'll put them in a situation.
Yeah, I need them to, like, put a pin in this episode and see when you do some, like, morbid shit like this, they'll be like, nope, because he doing it on purpose.
Let him die. Let him go.
Let that nigga die.
You know,
Like,
and they were talking
your
about.
father, he choking. No, he not.
No, he's
He
not.
faking.
He faking. Guy. He got a kill switch. He okay. Watch. He gonna throw up in 5, 4, 3. Ugh. Why didn't y'all save me? See that nigga. Okay. They were talking about things that kids choke on, and I was like, word? Like, you're sitting there. It's me. It's Rashani. Come on. I am literally 42% good person and 98% asshole. Okay, so I'm sitting there listening to this lady doing the presentation about what. Yeah, do the math on that. I'm too lazy. Google it. 42% and 98% is like 140%, which is way more than you should be a dick, but I'm good at it, so I've leveled up. It's like health points in video games. It just keeps rising. Never mind. It's a whole thing. Anyhow, this lady is telling us about things that kids choke on. And like I said, I'm cradling this baby in my arms, and as she starts telling us about the stuff that babies can choke on, I'm just looking, and kids choke on. I'm looking at her like, are you serious? Like, how's that possible? Ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigga, it melts.
They could still choke, though, first.
But it might take a long time, or if it's sharp.
Yeah.
And then, buttons.
Yeah.
They got holes in them. You should be able to breathe through the holes.
Shut up.
And cheese. She said cheese, and I was like, hold up. Wait, white woman. Y'all don't choke on cheese because cheese melts. I done seen, like...
That ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
And
if the baby gets, like, those little, like, Sargento cheese cubes...
It's gonna melt.
Not immediately.
They're gonna die.
On its throat. Help it down. Help the process.
You tripping.
And then
you tripping.
And then
you tripping.
And then safety pins, which is all holes. It's literally a silver thing and then a big long ass hole and then a hole in the back that the silver thing is made out of. And also, I don't know what kind of person lets their kid eat a safety pin.
Well, nobody's letting the kid eat it. Kids, like, grab shit. They get a hold of stuff. It's like you turn around, you put some change on the table, the baby can reach the table, the baby got a quarter in his throat.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, my God, that really did happen.
Yeah.
To my brother.
Wait, what?
No, my brother almost choked to death on a quarter.
See? I mean, it's just kids. Kids move like... I don't know, think of something stealthy and that's how they move. You turn around and it's like those videos of kids where like the parents said that they turned around for 5 minutes and they go upstairs and then there's chocolate everywhere or there's flour in the kitchen or
the kid burns down the house.
The kid whatever that thing is where you think like, oh my God, how could this parent have missed this moment of this child tearing up the house, got in all the paint, whatever it is. It's the same thing with like something super duper small. It's just they pop a button off of their shirt and it goes in their damn mouth.
And then they're sweating. They popped a button, they sweating. Woo!
Okay.
Thread all on my face.
Oh my God.
I mean, it takes kids do all kinds of just like, what the fuck? Like, why did you even do that? Like my brother, like this isn't a choking thing. He got a piece of straw stuck in his nose. Like, I don't know how the straw got cut small enough to go up in his nose, but it was up in
the
there.
Straw, like hay straw, or are we talking about like plastic straw?
Like a drinking straw. Like, I think somehow the drinking straw got cut. Like, maybe he was playing with it, or I was playing with it. Like, we were playing with scissors, fucking with this straw, and it was like, a tiny, probably a centimeter or two long, and he got that up in his nose. It's just like kids do all kinds of goofy shit. And you're just like, what the fuck?
I just want to point out the part where you subtly put your name into it. It might have been me who cut up the straw.
No, but it's just I'm saying that seriously because it's one of those things that I remember. Like, I remember the straw in his nose. I don't remember what led up to the straw in his nose. Like, I am genuinely being like saying like it could have been me. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what we were doing at that time for that little tiny piece of straw to end up in his nose. I should just own up to it. I did it. I cut the straw. Let's see what happens. It was me.
That's it. Fuck it. I did it.
Fuck
it. It was me. Gang gang.
It was me.
Gang.
Older sibling, gang.
I was like, you can still breathe through that straw, right? Don't worry about it. But did I ever tell you about the day that my brother set me up to get murdered?
Yo, what? Which brother? Like
the only one, the punk ass.
Okay, so you only have one. Okay, see, no, I didn't. I mean, you didn't say your brother the punk ass, so I'm thinking that it's some other brother.
No, my brother the punk ass.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a waterbed.
Wow.
Okay.
And
wow.
This is the 80s. Don't judge me, judge yourself. First of all, don't look. First of all, somebody's parent, I'm not going to say who, should have never bought a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old a waterbed, okay? I'm just going to put that out there and walk away slowly.
Not at all.
Niggas
not at all.
Not have gotten us a waterbed, but it was the early 80s, and they had just figured out the seatbelts were a thing. So we had a waterbed, and somehow we were jumping on the bed and realizing that the bed didn't bounce, so we pulled the sheet off of the bed to see why it didn't bounce, because we didn't know it was a waterbed till we pulled the sheet off and saw that it was a waterbed. And waterbeds are so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in hindsight, like, people, like, really, let's sit back and really think about the benefits of a waterbed. There are none. The downside to waterbeds is that they are literally like 200 gallons of water in a sack, laying on a wood casket. And so we pulled back the sheet and saw that there was bubbles because we had been jumping on the bed, so there were like bubbles underneath the in the waterbed.
Oh, so you could see it. You could see through it.
Yeah, you could. It was
okay.
It was like a brownish, like a light brown colored bag that was full to the brim with water, and so you could see into it. So you could see the bubbles forming when we were jumping on the bed, and we were initially rolling cars, like Hot Wheel cars, through the bubbles, like driving. And then my brother realized that if you hit one of the bubbles hard enough, it would separate. It would split, like it would move. And so then we started
science.
Jumping up and down to 5-year-old, 3-year-old discover science. And so we were jumping up and down the bed to make the bubbles move all over the place. We were giggling and all that kind of stuff, and my parents weren't paying attention because why would they? And then my brother, the punk ass, was like, I'm going to split that bubble in half. And he grabbed was it just a really sharp stick?
Oh, Lord.
I think it was a really sharp stick. It wasn't a knife or anything like that, but he grabbed a really sharp stick, and he found the biggest bubble. You always find the biggest bull on the block, and you take him out. He grabbed the stick. He brought it up like Van Helsing, and you could just see the velocity lines coming off the stick and a look on his face, and as sound effect like it was an anime as the stick got closer and closer to the bed, and he punctured the water bed with this stick.
Mm-hmm. Oh no!
And so now we have a geyser water bed, like it's just spraying up in the air. And so our first thought was to try and make it stop.
Mm-hmm.
So we put a pillow on top of it, and that just got the pillow all wet. And now the water was starting to like fill up into the wood casket that it was in, and starting to spill over the top. And he's panicking. I'm panicking. I'm 3, but I panicked, and he told my mom and my dad that I saw the bubble and I tried to bite the bubble.
Wow, like he didn't even say that he didn't even like pin the stick on you.
No.
He just said that you did some other shit. Like, were you a biter? Were you a biter?
I don't know. I don't think I was. I might have been. I know I was a crier. So I might have been a biter. I mean, I might have just been like that dude. I don't know, but he saw fit to say that I bit through the plastic bag that was our water bed, and I think we got sent to bed, and it was like 4:00 in the afternoon. And so
go to bed.
Yeah,
it's 4:00. The sun's still up. I don't give a fuck.
Right, and those are the you know what? If you want to make your kids really cry, and they're like 8 and below, send them to bed when it's still light out.
Oh my god, yo, that shit will still, like, my son is 11 years old, and he still will get upset behind that shit.
Yep,
he will still be mad upset if he's got to go to bed before whatever his usual bedtime is. Like, he done fucked up, and so it's just like, yo, get your ass into bed. And it's just like, and he is just, it is, you would think that I beat him as his reaction. It is so, because it's one of those things that it hasn't happened a lot. He hasn't been sent to bed kind of before his regular bedtime a lot. He usually gets something taken away, or it's a different kind of punishment. But, I guess this time it was closer to, to bedtime. So it was just like, well, fuck it, get your ass in the bed, kind of thing. And it was just a meltdown. I was so surprised. It was just like, what? And but of course you got to follow through with the shit. As a parent, you want to laugh because it's just like, really? Like, this is it. Like, this is like, I didn't touch you or anything. And you are like, this really got you upset. Going to bed at 8:30 versus 9:30. Like, this hour really got you, all out of sorts. But yeah, he was upset.
It's one of those things where it was one of those things that was worse for us, I think, than it is for kids now. Even though Alex obviously reacted the way that we would have reacted, it was worse for us because you would get sent to bed at like 5:00 and you'd still hear your friends playing outside.
Oh.
And we had a 1-story house, so the friends will literally run up to our window and be like, "Can y'all come out?" And it's like, we're in bed, and it's like 4:30, and they're like, "Why are you in bed?" Because my mom hates me, and I wish she'd get hit by a car. And I'm going to go ask your mom if you can come out and play. And you peek your... Whenever we got sent to bed at like 5:00, here's the reason why I think my parents stopped sending us to bed at 5:00. They would send us to bed at 5:00, but we would try and negotiate our way out of bed from 5:00 until about 7:30. Every 30 minutes, just peek your head out the door with that face.
Yep. Can I come out?
Can I come out? I won't. I'm sorry. No. Go to bed.
Oh, man. I'm mad. Like, my dad didn't send me to, like, bed. He just sent me to my room. But I definitely had to stay in that motherfucker. And I remember just yelling at him down the hallway, can I come
I remember that. I haven't thought about that forever. And you know that, like those first few times, you know the answer is fucking no. You know, it's just you try, but you got to try. Can I come out? But then eventually it is a yes. You know, but
you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So them first couple of times, they come all the way to the room to tell you about yourself. The first couple of times when it's like, can I come out? Nah, nigga, I sent you to bed because you were making a whole lot of noise. You didn't want to listen to me. You want to listen to me now? Don't you, little motherfucker? Don't you want to listen? Don't you want to listen? And then they go back out, and like 30 minutes later, I won't do it anymore. Can I come out? No, little nigga. I said, get your ass to bed. I'm not sleepy. And I gotta go to the bathroom. That was our way out. If they let us into the bathroom, it was a wrap because we stand there for like 30 minutes just playing in water. Go to bed. I'm not tired. And then, like, it'll be like 6 o'clock, and you just poke your head out and you just be staring at them, like hoping that they didn't notice that your door was open and you were just poking your head out the door quietly, just looking at them, watching them watch TV. And it was just like, shh, shh, what are they doing? Shh. What y'all doing back there? And then finally, you'd either cry yourself to sleep, or they come in and be like, all right, you can come out now. Because they knew, parents always knew, and we talk about like dickhole moves. Parents know that if you really went to sleep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd be up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Asking for breakfast.
And so, in hindsight, I should have took my ass to sleep. And woke up the next day and been like, I am not tired. You sent me to bed at 4 o'clock. What do you want from me, Linda? But my parents never sent us to, like, they would never send us to the room with, like, just go to the room. It would always be go to bed because they knew if they sent us to the room, it was party time. We had the books and the Hot Wheels. We didn't have TVs back then in the rooms or nothing, but we had books and Hot Wheels, and we would play. And even when they sent us to bed at 5 o'clock, we go in there and play. And so now as a parent, I realized that they probably didn't give a fuck. They probably just wanted us out of their hair. But because we were kids, we took it seriously. Like, they really want us to go to bed. And so we kept bugging them, like, can we come out now? And it's like, little nigga, I just want you out of my face. You punctured, at that time, probably $200 water bed. Just give me a moment. But nope. Never worked. They were pretty resolute in their whole, you can't come out, you can't come out, you can't come out. And I was never smart enough to say, fuck it, I'm just going to play with toys in my room. I literally tried to lay down and go to sleep, and I'm not tired was the common refrain. So, Alex, I feel you, bro. I feel your pain, brother. But at least your friends weren't coming up like, dude, you just missed a great football game. Shut up, Marcus. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey.
So, did y'all hear about this? I'm so disappointed because it's right down the street from my house. Not right down the street, but it's a couple cities up from my house. The barbershop where the dude had a doll of Colin Kaepernick hanging from a noose.
No.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean, I'm not surprised by that shit because, you know, motherfuckers always doing stuff in effigy anyway, but no, I had no idea.
Yeah, so I live in Elk Grove, and about 4 towns up is this place called Placerville. And Placerville's high enough up in the mountains that it snows.
Okay.
So it they get flurries, they get activity. It's not like where it's like winter packed snow and all this great stuff. It's just flurries. But it's also like predominantly white people. And This barbershop owner is apologizing after a picture of Colin Kaepernick being hung from a noose in his shop was posted on social media. The picture was taken inside the Bowtie Barbershop in downtown Placerville, California. Quote, I literally had no idea that I was offending people. The owner said, we have a hangman out here called George, and so, with the theme of Hangtown, I hung him. And it was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. Here's the thing. The barber, who won't give his name, said the doll has been hanging in his shop since 2016. When Kaepernick and a teammate first knelt during the national anthem. Quote, I am a die-hard 49er fan, and when that action happened, there was a lot portrayed on the 49ers, and I took it personally, Barber said. The doll's been taken down, but the customer feels like the damage has already been done. Barber said all he can do is hope his apology is accepted. Quote, I'm publicly announcing that I apologize. It was the wrong thing for me to do, he said. Absolutely will never happen again. I absolutely see the other side of it now. I'm sorry. I'm disappointed on so many different levels. One of them is the fact that I can literally go to this shop and beat this dude up. And I'm not going to. I'm just saying, like, this is literally, like, right there. Like, we go into this area to go get apples and stuff. We go to this place called Apple Hill. It's right next to this barbershop. This is disappointing because it's in my area. It's also disappointing because this dude had Colin's doll hanging since 2016, and nobody said anything. Nobody had an issue with it until this one customer happened to mosey on in and see it hanging up. And I don't even know if it was a customer. It might have just been somebody who heard word of it and went to see it themselves. Nobody else had an issue with it in this town, and that's the issue that I have with it, is the fact that nobody else had an issue with it. Probably thought it was funny. Probably thought he was in his place. And then the fact that the apology is such a non-apology. I literally had no idea that I was offending people. What did you think you were doing? Like, I realize that there's a lot of people who try and hide offensive stuff behind it was just a joke. But, like, how didn't you think, hey, me putting a black person in a nuke is not offensive in any way, shape, or form? Whole thing's messy and disappointing to me.
Yeah, white people are childish. Like, they just, like, they know what they're doing. That's really what it comes down to, as far as I'm concerned. They know what they're doing. Now, is it, like, right there at the forefront, like, yes, I am going to do this, kind of thing. It's just, like, I don't know if it's always right there at the front, of their mind or whatever, but they know what they're doing. They know that it's ugly. It's just that I think what happens is they get insulated with people who they think like them. And so nobody says anything, or they think that people around them think like them because no one has said anything. Because there's a good chance that somebody else in that town has seen it, but didn't want to say anything. Because that's the other side of it too. You have people who see things, but they don't say anything. They don't say anything. They don't have the bravery or whatever. Or either they don't have the bravery or they don't think it's a big deal. Like, they can say, like, oh man, he's a fucking asshole. But they're not going to say anything, and like really, have a confrontation over it. But nah, they know. It's just that maybe it's so, I think what kills me about white people is how much they can ignore how ingrained racism is for them. Meanwhile, people of color, black people, they see, as soon as they see it, for a lot of black, as soon as they get a whiff of it, they know what it is. Yeah. It's just, but white people can just go around and just traipse through whatever, completely ignoring how they just hung a black man in effigy and not even contemplating what that means in a larger context. Like, just completely ignoring history. It's just like it's so built in them. It's why it's why I'm just like, yeah, a lot of y'all motherfuckers, a lot of white people are racist. All of y'all probably are racist because you haven't investigated why you feel the way you feel about things. You're just out here living, thinking that haven't been conditioned by white supremacy, living in this country or living anywhere. Like, you're just out here thinking that, oh man, look, I got this black neighbor, or my kids go to school and they have black friends, or I have black friends, I grew up with black, whatever the person of color is there. But like, you haven't investigated messages you see throughout your life, throughout your parents, messages your parents have, messages your parents have. You may not go into the process of somebody's yard, but you probably got and didn't feel bad.
Hey, Shantae?
Yeah.
You're going in and out.
Oh. Sorry, maybe I'm too far.
Yep, there, perfect. You were too far. It happens to me all the time.
But yeah, just, motherfuckers, white people more than likely are racist if they're not, if they haven't investigated the messages that they've received throughout their lives. You are not immune to this shit. So fuck your, I'm sorry I offended you, kind of. I didn't know I was offending anybody. Apology. Fuck that shit. Whack.
We'll be right back. Single simulcast.
This is Paul Andre Joseph, and you're listening to the Single Simulcast. Enjoy this shit.
This is Jarman, a.k.a. Shantae's brother. You're listening to Single Simulcast. Favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. I like listening to it. Hopefully you like listening to it. Enjoy.
I'm a product my own decisions.
You're right. You're a product of your own decisions. This is Single Simulcast.
Hey, this is Sharonda, and you're listening to Single Simulcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Classic, CEO and co-founder of the CSPN Network. And when I'm not working on the many podcasts on our network or just hanging out, I'm listening to Single Simulcast, and so should you.
That was simply sensational. Single simulcast shall surely surface speedily. Bitches.
Hello, this is Stephanie from the Mocha Minutes podcast. If you can hear my voice, that means you're tuning in to two of my faves, Rayshani and Shantae Fabulous of the Single Simulcast. Congrats! You made a really good choice today. You want to make another good choice? Check me out on the Mocha Minutes podcast. You won't be disappointed. If you're tuning in to the Single Simulcast, you're going to love the Mocha Minutes podcast too. You can find the Mocha Minutes podcast wherever you find your podcasts. We'd love to have you tune in. Okay. Bye.
Like makeup? Interested in mental health? Check out lithiumtolashes.com, where I talk about my own everyday struggles with mental health and beat my face from time to time. This is Single Simulcast.
Hi, this is your man Jeremy from the Crown of College podcast, and you are listening to Single Simulcast with my man Rashani and Shantae Fabulous, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. And I'm your favorite podcaster, so that should be your favorite podcaster, because I'm your fave, and your fave's fave. Check them out on Single Simulcast, and check out Crown of College, found wherever you can find great podcasts and the CSPN network.
Hey everybody, this is Wormhole Matt with the Planet Wormhole Podcast. Please follow me and my wife Rachel at Get Off My Planet. We are going to be talking about a lot of great stuff on Planet Wormhole, so please check us out. thank you very much for having us on the show. The Single Simulcast, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. It's also my favorite podcast because I'll be honest, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but you guys have really embraced me, and I love you for it. So thank you very much.
Single Simulcast, episode 318. Shantae's in the building. Stephanie's in the building. Big Dick Energy's in the building. I'm Rashani.
Yeah. Woo! Yes.
So.
Sorry.
It's okay. I love how thoroughly engaged you are in Big Dick Energy. I'm okay with that.
I'm just saying.
So we talked a while back about one of these places. I think it was Neiman Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
And their collard greens, if I remember correctly.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was collard greens. It was some type of vegetable.
Like
it definitely
collard green. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about how that was like them being completely out of their lane. This is not that story.
Oh, well.
Nordstrom's is selling the Golden Goose sneakers, dubbed the Superstar Taped Sneaker. They're new, but they look like they're falling apart with dirt and tape already on them. And they're being sold for $530. Quote, crumply, hold it all together tape details a distressed leather sneaker in a retro low profile with a signature sidewall star and grungy rubber cup sole, the description reads. And they're sold out.
I mean, I don't know. It's not so. It's silly, but it's also not surprising. I mean, there's probably a lot of motherfuckers. Excuse me. Who got $500 to blow?
Oh, weird.
On some sneakers. It reminds me of I think there's some Balenciaga sneakers that look not quite as haggard as these sneakers, but still kind of in that same vein.
Man, I'm in the wrong business.
Right?
I just wouldn't expect, like distressed sneakers sounds goofy. But I guess if you can have, Kanye came out with those holy shirts and pants and stuff a couple of years back. I mean, rich people like what they like.
You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of Zoolander.
How so?
So in the first Zoolander, because the second one I've kind of like Men in Black myself and forgot about, but the first one, the designer, his name, what's his name?
Mugatu.
Derelict. Remember, it was supposed to look like homeless chic. This would have been the featured shoe in Derelict.
Yeah.
I never made it all the way through that movie.
Yeah. Don't watch the second one. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I learned my lesson when I saw Super Troopers Part 2.
The what? What Part 2?
Super Troopers.
Oh. Never seen a Super Trooper.
Yeah.
The first one's a mess. The first one, like, if you haven't seen it, you probably don't need to watch it. Was
it a show too?
No.
Oh.
No. But it's just, it's so
stupid.
Stupid and problematic that it's just like, yeah, you don't need to watch it. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some of this shit is funny. Some of the shit is funny, but I think there's certain movies that if you didn't watch it at a time where you were young enough to kind of maybe not be so woke or judgy or whatever, it's just like there's no point because you're not going to think the shit is funny. You're just going to be scrunching your face at it.
And that's exactly what Jay said when we were talking about, I was talking to him about seeing Spaceballs.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, bro. Like, initially, I didn't watch it because I didn't like them making fun of Star Wars. And then when I got older, it was like there's so much misogyny and just they were not they weren't very friendly towards anybody other than white people on that movie. And I was like, you know what? I never really even thought about it. But those movies back then, none of them aged well.
Oh,
None of them.
No,
None of
like
them.
especially like Blade, like especially just like Mel Brooks movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, like if you haven't if you haven't watched those movies within a certain time frame, it's like you're not going to think that the shit is funny. It's just not. You're just gonna be, like I said, you're gonna be scrunching your face up at it, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that's also why I don't push movies on people, because I know that I might have watched that movie in a particular context. You know, it might have been with a particular person, it might have been at a particular time, and that's why it's funny to me. That's why it resonates with me. But me just saying like, oh, this movie is so good, sit and watch it, it's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I love Spaceballs, by the way, but still, it's a mess. And I love Blazing Saddles, but that shit is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit could not get made today. But that's okay. I think that's another thing too. People harken back to that time when when you could call somebody a nigger on screen and nobody even flinched at that shit. White people calling, like I think fucking Nick Nolte was calling motherfuckers niggers in 48 hours.
Yep.
So it's shit like that. People harken back to that time. I don't think we have to go back to that time. Like, you can acknowledge that movie, you enjoyed that movie. It worked for the time frame that it was made in, but it's okay that we're not doing the same things that they were doing, in the 80s or the 70s or whatever.
You know what? One of my favorite movies is The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And parts of that movie, Lord have mercy, it's like, oh. So there's a part in there where they are playing video games and calling each other gay.
Yes.
Because of certain part. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like, yikes. It's like, just yikes.
And that was Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And Seth Rogen. And it was all improvised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
it's just
that
like,
part.
the whole time, I'm like, yeah, this isn't funny.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like growth.
Pretty much.
Because there's certain things that I will see in a movie. Like me personally, like you said, Shantae, Spaceballs, I loved it. Love it. Have it on Blu-ray. Blazing Saddles, oh yeah. Show that scene to me where Mongo knocks out the horse and I die every time.
Right.
Show me the scene where they're all sitting around the campfire eating the beans. I'm falling out. Show me the part where he's like, "Good morning, ma'am," and isn't it a lovely morning? And I'm dying. Whole movie. But I can understand how folks will look at it and be like, this ain't for me. And so there's movies that I have tried to go back and watch. And it's just like, no. And I think that it was because to some extent I didn't like the movie already. Where I'm able to go back and say, nah, I'm cool. One of the movies, honestly, that didn't bother me when it first came out, but bothered me more and more when I went back to see it again, Kids. Kids bothered me a lot when I was older.
Kids?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch it?
Is that No, that's not the Toys movie.
It's got Chloe Sevigny and Rosario Dawson's, like, I almost want to say it's their first movie.
Yep.
Their very first movie. It's directed by, I think, Harmony Korine. I think it's his first movie or second or something. But yeah, that movie, like, it's something that I watched it when I was younger, and it was like, this is some wild shit. But then I haven't revisited it at all, and probably don't want to.
You don't.
But, yeah.
You don't want to. Just know that they went on to bigger and much better things. There's just so many problematic things that happen in that movie, and so many things that are said in that movie that it's just like, I can't go back. So I understand where he was coming from. I understand, like, knowing inherently that something that you once liked is a big ass issue. Here's my question, since we're here now. Have you ever had that moment, that moment of realization with one of your closest loved ones? And do you continue to tolerate them because they're one of your closest loved ones, or are you just like, we've grown apart?
Oh, man.
Wow. I don't know.
Oh, man. See, I don't know if it was so much that I was like, oh, we grown apart or whatever. But it was definitely a moment of seeing someone kind of consistently with a type of joke, you know, like on social media, like this was one of their jokes. And it felt like this was one of their jokes. And I finally had to say something. And there was like a back and forth. And it was just like, I'm telling you this because I love you, but I also love the people that you're joking on. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm saying something to you, you know, kind of thing, right? I'm going to say it right now, you know, so it was that kind of thing. But I find myself kind of backing away sometimes, and that feels weird. It's just like you don't want to hang out with somebody because you don't want to have that confrontation, I guess. Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of distance yourself, hoping that it just dies naturally. I had a friend who, same thing. It was like, you know what? The things that you are saying is harmful to a lot of people that I care about. And so while I may have been able to see past it before, now it's just like a glaring blinking light on your forehead. It's like impossible to miss. And I had to go. And there was no back and forth or anything. It was just like, it is what it is. You know, we gotta split up. And I pretty sure that I will see him when I go visit another friend, because we're mutual friends, all have been for a while. Mm-hmm. So when I go out to Bainbridge and see my friend Jordan, and it'll be interesting. But he's a good dude overall, and that's the thing. It's like, is he a good dude? Mm-hmm. Is he a good dude? Or is he, like, we categorize people now in this day and age of being woke and being like aware and being all that kind of stuff. We need to still be able to say, this is where I was a year ago. This is where I am now. They haven't made those changes that I've made, but do I judge them as bad people because they haven't made that change? Because if you judge them for being bad people for not making that change, and that means that last year you were a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If you're able to cancel somebody, if you're able to let go of somebody for something that you just learned how to do like 3 weeks ago, then that means 3 weeks ago you were literally a piece of trash, and now you're just a hypocrite. Because if you had gotten canceled for that 3 weeks ago, you would have been trying to figure out what you had done and what had happened. And that's kind of stuff that sticks with me. I'm like, in this day and age of, I gotta let you go for the good of the whole. I gotta get your hands off the table, Jack. And it's like, for the good of everyone else, you gotta sink. But do they really?
Yeah, I don't know, because there is a part of me that is just like, there's a part of me that's like within the canceling and everything. Like, obviously people can say that they've canceled you, or whatever. But there's always going to be people who I think who will be more tolerant of whatever your behavior is. They will allow quote unquote growth. And so the people who basically were just like, I can't fuck with you anymore. It just feels like you got to take that L, I guess. That's what it feels like to me. It's just like, you know what? You fucked up. And this person said that, you know, you weren't the person that they want to hang out with anymore because of something that you've done. And you're going to be hurt maybe behind the loss of that friendship or that interaction. But there's other people who are going to hang out with you. Because I don't know. I feel like the idea that, oh, well, what about when you were whoop-de-bam, blah, 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 blah. It gets put on people who were like being, that excuse, I guess, comes up for people who were being really, really unkind. I feel like that's when people want to talk about, well, what about when blah, 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 you're not perfect. You know, what about you were saying whatever? And it's just like, maybe it wasn't, maybe the two things that you're comparing are the same. Like, I don't know if somebody was saying that this group of people deserves to die, you know, and now they've changed. I don't know if somebody needs to let them back in. It's a strange kind of, I think everybody has to navigate who they want to forgive and who they want to tolerate, all that different kind of stuff, and maybe just let people decide who they want to be in their circle. Mm-hmm. You know, they want to be outside of their circle. Because I think that's where the arguments come from. Is you got people who are just like, I don't like that motherfucker over there. That motherfucker said like some really unkind, heinous shit to me or about people that I fuck with. And I don't care that you have witnessed their growth and have seen them change. That person hurt me. Leave me fuck alone about this person. I think that's what needs to stop. You know, that person who maybe has witnessed that person's growth needs to stop trying to advocate for that person with the person that they hurt.
I feel that. I bet y'all were waiting for something more than that. No, I feel that. What do you think about the whole idea of canceling in solidarity? Have you ever like let somebody go because your friend let them go?
It probably would depend on what the situation is.
They're a chronic farter.
Like like, I don't know. I mean, it's because now it comes down to, well, damn, have I ever, smelled them fart? Like, I don't know. They've never farted around me. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like on Twitter, there have been people, you get people who are just like, oh man, block this person. So I've done stuff like that, where it's just like, yo, so-and-so is out of pocket. So-and-so is harassing me. This person stole my art. Report this page, kind of stuff like that. I've done that kind of stuff. So maybe if that's kind of the same thing, then yes.
Stephanie, you awfully quiet. Is Stephanie here anymore? We lost Stephanie. So I don't know. Those are just things that I really think about sometimes. And I don't know how we got. Well, I know how we got there from movies, but it's like growth. When that, I'm guessing that each person learns from their mistakes. They learn from the situation. Do you learn from getting canceled? But sometimes learning from getting canceled, like one of the worst things you can do to somebody is say, we got to talk, and then you don't say if it's good or bad. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a horrible feeling. And I feel like having those sort of experiences has made it where if somebody says that to me, I immediately start thinking, what did I do? What can I do to fix it? Am I about to get fired? Am I about to get canceled? Am I about to get dragged? Like, what exactly is going on? And then it'll just be like, hey, we're going to get something to eat. Would you like to go? And it's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, we got to work on, like, collectively, we have to work on our communication and think about how it's being received, not just what we want to say.
Mm-hmm. A man is wanted by police after being filmed sending his daughter inside of a barber cut light machine, where she was able to get her tiny hands on some prizes and retrieve them before the pair and another child, believed to be the man's son, left the scene. The union leader reports that security at the mall in Rockingham Park in New Hampshire was alerted to the man's scheme by a hostess at a restaurant opposite the machine, who told the site, quote, 2 people came in and I heard them say that's so unsafe. So I went outside and all I saw was a toddler's head peeping out from the front of the machine. For those of y'all who are unsure, because I was unsure as well, there's these machines that are they're almost like the crane machines they used to have, the claw machines they used to have at like Denny's and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they are skill machines where you try and get things to light up, and then if they light up enough, then the item you want will be available to you. And it's big ticket items. Some of the places at amusement parks, they have them, and they'll give you like Nintendo Switches, Xboxes, PlayStations, things of that nature. Vitas back when they were popular. And so these games are literally rigged and dang near impossible to get anything on them. But the box, the slot in which the item falls out of has to be big because, again, these are usually big items. And so this dude was like, fuck it, and told his child to get in there and grab him something. On the one hand, ingenuity.
Right.
On the other hand, probably going to get his child taken from him.
Oh, definitely.
For a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo 3DS. Local police are now asking for help from the public to locate the man because they didn't think to follow him or catch him or anything like that. But it's like putting your child in that sort of a situation, whether they know what they're doing or not, is just like not official. I feel like it's another form of grooming because you're literally showing them a life of crime before they know anything else. Like, you're pushing them towards this because they think that it's cool because they're doing it with their dad or whatever, their uncle or whomever it may be. But it's not. Like, what happens to the kid? I don't know. These are things that just concern and amuse and at the same time annoy me. Like, it's 3 separate feelings all crashing together. Because I could have saw myself getting mad over not getting something, but I couldn't see myself telling my kid, you're small, climb in there and do the thing, do the move.
Yeah, it's bad. It does seem like it's like grooming in the sense that this person knows that they have a sort of power over that child, because they're the parent, and they can suggest to the child to do this. Now granted, the child may just go do it because it's just like, okay, I can climb in there and get it and not really think about it. But there are some kids who might feel motivated to go in there and go do it because it'll make their parent happy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, the manipulation of the child's emotions. That this child wants to do any and everything to make you happy because of the way that you've raised it or whatever. And so now you are putting this child in a position to, do their best. But it's just they're doing their best at stealing.
I mean, I'm also like, what if the kid couldn't get back out?
Yeah.
There's an endangerment thing to this as well, I guess. Once you get past the fact that They should have totally went after the PlayStation 4, nigga, because Spider-Man is the lick. And, like, you got to realize this kid is going in there with baby hands, so they can't really just grab, like, the best stuff. So they got you, like, a 3DS. If I had lower morals to put my toddler into a machine and have them bring me something back, I think I'd be a little bit put out if they took my criminal plan and came back with a 3DS. And I would be like, but the Switch was right there. And they'd be like, gum! And I'd be like, no gum. The Switch was right there. And I feel like that already makes me a bad person, because I know that then I'd really be grooming them towards going after the Nintendo Switch. And then as they got bigger and a little bit their hands got bigger, then I would tell them to just fucking steal the PlayStation 4. And by then we would be the Bonnie and Clyde of vending machine games. Also, I know I'm not the only person who has tried to reach inside of a vending machine to get the pack of candy that is stuck, that kind of falls out, but then it leans the right way, so then it doesn't come down all the way. And I've seen people do running tackles into the side of soda machines to make a soda fall out. So don't blame me, blame society. They're the ones who raised us, people.
Wow.
Yeah, high school, somebody put a full-on, like, Terry Tate shoulder tackle onto a soda machine, and like 6 or 7 sodas came out, and they were the hero of the day.
Not bad.
Man, it was great. Like, I was like, can I have that? And then they were like, no, they were giving it out to all the girls, and I was like, I understand. I feel you. My brother, the punk ass. A German triathlete has been banned from an all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant in Bavaria after eating a little bit too much. He literally ate nearly 100 plates of food.
Wow.
The bodybuilder turned Ironman triathlete paid just $18 for the bottomless meal at Running Sushi, which is a restaurant in the city of Landshut. Though he was reportedly a regular, his last meal crossed the line, prompting the restaurant owner to ban him. The owner told the website that Bobrowski ate 5 people's worth of food. Not normal, he said. It didn't help that the restaurant primarily makes money from alcohol when on all-you-can-eat nights, and the triathlete drank only tea.
Mm-hmm.
Bobrowski apparently follows a strict diet where he fasts for 20 hours per day and then eats his entire allotment of calories within the remaining 4 hours. Given that stomachs tend to shrink after fasting, it's an even more notable feat of self-engorgement. TripAdvisor shows that Running Sushi's plates seem to contain 2 or 3 pieces of sushi on average. That's perhaps 3 ounces of sushi per plate, and if you round up Bobrowski's intake to an even 100 plates, that means he could have eaten somewhere in the realm of 18 pounds of sushi.
Yikes.
Of course, that's very rough math, and it's possible that Bobrowski overfilled on less dense items like sashimi. In any case, it seems like he ate several pounds of rice, fish, and nori before he was asked to leave. He later went back to the restaurant to apologize. I'm just saying, if I pay... There's certain places where if you tell me it's all you can eat, I'm going to be like, are you sure? If you see me pull up to a table wearing sweatpants and flip-flops, just know I didn't come to play with y'all niggas. I came to slay, bitch.
Oh my god. No, all I'm thinking of is that Fat Boy song, All You Can Eat.
Yeah. I used to love, like, that was one of my favorite parts of that movie. Where that dude went in there and got a whole ass pizza and put it all on his tray and folded it in half and went to town. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all are telling us that we can literally get all you can eat. You can't tell me that I can do that and then get mad when I try.
Yeah.
I went to this place in Maryland, in La Plata, Maryland, called Captain Billy's Crab Shack. And they had all-you-can-eat blue crabs and all-you-can-eat Maryland spiced shrimp. And I came in with the sweatpants and flip-flops. And we were there from like, it was myself, again, my brother, the punk ass, my mom, and my dad. It was the four of us. And my mom tapped out at like, we got there at like 4 o'clock because we wanted to get the lunch price.
Okay.
But stayed through dinner. My mom tapped out at like 5 o'clock. We got there at 4 o'clock. She stopped eating at 5 o'clock. We went until like 8 or 9.
Jesus.
If you're not eating anything but shrimp and crab, there's nothing in it that's going to fill you up. They don't give you bread. You're not drinking beer. And again, that's what they usually expect. Like they said, they expect you to drink like alcohol. Like if you're eating crab, I guess you're supposed to drink beer with it, but I never liked beer. So I was drinking water. When I was drinking water, which was when like spices got too spicy in my mouth, and I'd take a sip of water and go right back to eating. And we went through like, they would bring out bushels of crabs and bushels of shrimp and just pour it on the table, and we were just going through it like water. I was 18. My brother was like 20. We'll fuck your whole life up.
I think what's killing me is the time frame, is how long y'all were just sitting there. I think,
man, my mom and dad just sat there and talked, and my brother and I just went to work. I've seen other people take like they will tell you, if you go to Olive Garden when they have the Never Ending Pasta Bowl, they said that they've had people eat and then go into the bathroom and take a nap and then come back out and eat again. Like, that's doing too much. But we were sitting there literally just going hard in the paint on these little ass crabs. They were like tiny.
Right.
Like, I'll eat like 20 of those things just to get enough meat for one crab out here on the West Coast. Y'all little niggas, like little ass blue crabs. So I can understand going in there and really just going for yours. What I can't understand is getting banned for doing so. That just seems sadiddy. I would have made them my spokesperson. Try and beat what they ate. Try and top this. I'm not banning you for it. I'm proud of you. Nigga, you like my food. You like it a lot. Niggas starving themselves to get to my plate. You're my friend. I mean, hey, next time charge for the tea. How about it?
Get something.
But yeah, and then let me see. I just want to say again that I think I'm breaking up with the church. I still am a Christian, still love God and all that good stuff, but me and the church aren't where we used to be. And there's the reason why is this. Linda Harvey, the founder of the American right-wing Christian organization Mission America, is the one who argued last year that the rainbow has been stolen by the LGBT community. Now, in her latest op-ed, Harvey takes on the subject of sexually transmitted diseases, arguing that they're being driven by progressive, X-rated sex ed classes. According to Harvey, universities and organizations like Planned Parenthood are now, quote, promoting sexual pleasure for children ages 4 to 7. Of course, she doesn't provide much evidence for this other than links to other op-eds written for far-right websites and science journals that she widely takes out of context. And then she says, quote, and let's not forget the deadly contribution of LGBTQ advocates who demand inclusive sex ed, i.e. lessons that outline in detail how kids can engage in anal and oral sex, the sex practices of homosexuals. These lessons often encourage masturbation and pornography use. I saw that and I just wanted to say oral sex is for all the people as well as anal sex. I just want to point that out. I didn't learn it from anybody. I just wanted it and wanted to try it. And so that's where it came from. I didn't learn it from, like, it wasn't written on a bathroom wall for a good time, eat the pussy. Like, it wasn't written anywhere. It was just like, I'm going to do this as quickly as possible, and no LGBTQ person was swaying me one way or the other. So I just, it just amuses me how, it doesn't even amuse me. Yeah, I guess it does. How far from any point of fact people are when they're trying to inflame the truth. And when I say inflame the truth, I mean they're trying to burn the truth down into something that they could shape in their own image. Mm-hmm. And to blame something this broad on LGBTQ people is just stupid.
Well, yeah, it's stupid, but also, and disrespectful to LGBTQ people. And it's like, well, what sex ed course is she talking about? Is talking about this type of stuff? Because I feel like there's statistics that talk about how, well, one, we live in a country that I feel like a lot of places, when they do talk about sexual education or any type of health things as far as bodies are concerned, is very focused on for girls menstruation, and for boys, your little penis might get hard, kind of thing. Like that. Like, I feel like that's it. And then don't have sex. It's like abstinence only. So it's like, who is giving any type of teaching as far as that's concerned? Because it feels like we're getting so much abstinence. People have been talking about having abstinence only sex ed, how that leads to, outbreaks of sexual transmitted infections and pregnancies and all that different kind of stuff, because they're not getting the information that they're supposed to get, but are still participating in the activities because they're growing into their bodies and curious about other people's bodies. So I'm just wondering where she's getting these X-rated sex education classes. Like, who? For 4 to 7 year olds? Like, no. But I know people hear stuff and they're so willing to run with it. And then they run with it and because they want to be outraged. Because it would be kind of outrageous if somebody was giving like really X-rated sexual education to children who weren't ready for it. Mm-hmm. Giving them, kind of telling them about things that they don't even really need to know about at that point. Not giving them age appropriate sex education, because that's what it sounds like. She's making it sound like they're not getting age appropriate sex education, but it's just, this doesn't make any sense. Like, who's doing this? But that's the thing, as far as our world is now, where you can just say some shit and all you got to do is put the shit on the internet. All you got to do is tweet it out. All you got to do is put it on Facebook. All you got to do is put it in a blog and get it to the right eyes, and that shit will spread like wildfire without any investigation.
They already made a correction or a clarification on the writer from Sesame Street who said that Bert and Ernie were gay. Are gay. One of the writers said that he always just figured that Bert and Ernie were a couple. Everybody in the world were like, no fucking shit. And then Sesame Street came back and were like, they aren't a couple. We didn't do that. And then they came back later on like, not that there's anything wrong with them being a couple. It's just not something that we envision for them. But it's like folks are so scared of making a statement that may not be palatable to all sides on as far as from a liberal side that they don't want to really make those waves. And then on the other side, you got folks just making all sorts of outlandish statements like this, and nobody refutes them.
Yeah.
And so eventually somebody's going to listen to it and hear it and believe it, and it's off to the races. Yeah.
Can I say something about the Sesame Street thing?
Yes.
So, I feel like that situation was kind of what I saw was the writer saying how he thought that Bert and Ernie were a couple. And then the creator, Frank Oz, saying, well, that's not what I was trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like both of those things can be true. You know, the person who came up with the characters, as far as they're concerned, created two roommates. You know, that's how they come off, at least on television. You know, they come off as two roommates as far as they were concerned. However, this writer seeing two male characters together in this house and kind of living and together in this house or in this apartment and everything, saw a couple. You know, and I'm sure perhaps, you know, because, you know, Bert is the serious one and Ernie is the wild one, and perhaps that clicked as far as his mind was concerned, because maybe he has seen same-sex couples who are in that same vein. There's a wild one, and then there's a serious one. They hang out with each other. One of them works on each other's nerves and all this different kind of stuff. And but to me, it felt like both things could be true. You know, Frank Oz's intention could have been roommates, and this writer saw a couple. And that they don't cancel each other out, or one is wrong and one is right. It's just, you have a perception, and it's yours to have.
And that's pretty much what Frank was saying. He was like, why the need to define people as only gay? There's much more to a human being than just straightness or gayness. I guess the writer, Mark Saltzman, joined Sesame Street in 1984. Bert and Ernie have been on the show since 1969. Mark said that when he started writing for the show, he always wrote them as a gay couple. So it was his perception as he stepped in and had the opportunity to write. He steered them in that direction based on his perception. And again, there's no issue with it either way it goes. It's like whatever you see, whatever you want to believe for you, to enrich you, I'm like, go for it. It was just interesting to me how quickly they were like, yeah, they're Muppets. Muppets don't have a sexual orientation.
Oh yeah, it definitely went. People were trying to say like, oh, they've never expressed anything like that, and it's just like, you know, Piggy was always gonna get married to Kermit. Like, there's always been some type of something as far as the relationships beyond just platonic friendships. There's always kind of been something, whether or not it was actually in Sesame Street, you know, as far as the puppets and stuff were concerned. But still, you know, there were couples on Sesame Street. Gordon and his wife, Luis and his wife. You know, Luis and his wife, they've had a child. You know, so it's like the idea that it was just completely canceled out, like, oh, we don't even do that kind of thing. It's just like, but y'all do. Y'all do. It's just that it was cool because y'all didn't think about it because it was heterosexual relationships.
An Anchorage man who strangled a woman. I don't even want to read this shit. Basically, bottom line, a dude completely like assaulted. You know what?
We can skip it. It's not like we trigger warned on it anyway.
Yeah. It just reinforces how horrible, like, misogyny and male privilege has really just become. And it's always been. It's just, it's like once you see a car that's your color, once you get a car that's your color, and then everywhere you look, you see that car again. It's like everywhere you go, you just see this trash ass shit.
Yeah.
This dude did horrible stuff to this woman, and the judge, who's also a man, gave him a slap on the wrist because he lost his job. The assistant district attorney said that's all he really needs as punishment enough. And it makes me like it's a fucked up situation on so many different levels.
Yeah, it's infuriating because there's so many people who are in a power position protecting other people who they relate to, as far as, like whether it's men protecting men, or white men protecting white men, white women protecting white women, protecting white men, black men protecting black men, whoever is in or even, or black women protecting black men, or what, just whoever is seemingly in a power position continuously being protected by other people for them to maintain their power position. They are helping these heinous people protect their power position. It's like this shit that's going on with Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court nominee. And he's got his situation that happened when he was in high school, and everybody is sweating the woman that came forward about what happened with that situation. Mm-hmm. And I'm intentionally being vague. So, either you know or you don't know. But, it's just, they are, lambasting her, saying, how come you didn't come forward, and all this different kind of stuff. Saying like, oh, well, he was 17, and, why should something like this follow somebody who's 50 years old or whatever? And it's just powerful people continually protecting other powerful people, or white men, because it's basically the GOP who were just like, well, why are y'all acting this way, to the Democrats or to society, to the people who are in opposition of this man being appointed to the Supreme Court. It's just like, why y'all mad? It's not that big a deal, kind of thing. And then they got women on there. I think CNN had women on their cast or whatever. Like, I guess not like quote unquote regular women, basically asking the same thing, basically questioning her motivations. Why? How come you didn't say anything earlier? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, it wasn't that big a deal. Just bullshit. I don't know. When the revolution comes, I'm ready.
I saw this movie yesterday called Assassination Nation.
Mm-hmm.
About 4 teenage girls who ended up becoming social pariahs. It wasn't that great of a movie. It was actually pretty horrible. Nisha and I saw it, and we walked out with a lot of eye rolling. One thing that stood out was the fact that these ladies took revenge on the guys who were slut shaming them, and mocking them, and harassing them. And basically took revenge in some of the most satisfying ways possible.
Mm-hmm.
The movie itself was shit, but when it comes to Netflix or Hulu or wherever it comes to really quickly, because again, it was shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth the view on something free just to see them try and build this story of girl power, and try and really just talk about how women and ladies are literally put on a witch hunt. Like, even though guys do this, the same things that ladies do, guys aren't judged on the same level that ladies are judged on. And in that idea, it's absolutely laser focus, pinpoint correct. It's just that the way that the story went and everything was just fucking. It was a C movie.
Mm-hmm.
With a A+ mindset behind it, but the person who wrote the movie just couldn't bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. When I'm wondering what generation it's gonna be who are just gonna finally raise up and be like, you know what, fuck your shit. We're tired of this shit. We're not taking this shit. And everything changes. And I just hope I'm alive to see it happen.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I have hope, and then there's a part of me that's I guess pessimistic about it, because there's so much. People want to be nice, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, people want to be nice, and I think people are very focused on being kind to people, and so even people who are fucked up don't get rejected. It's like the whole cancel culture thing, and you get people who are like, oh my God, why are you canceling people? You know, blah, 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 kind of thing, you know, and, you know, saying like, well, haven't you ever done something that's messed up and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe some people need to be rejected. And I feel like there's a lot of people not wanting to reject people. It's people wanting to excuse things because they don't want to feel rejected. You know, it's like it's like, if I keep this person from being rejected for whatever they did, this will also keep me from being rejected if my time comes. Rather than just being like, oh man, that person fucked up. Maybe I need to check my shit and, you know, prepare myself, you know, for that kind of stuff. Maybe I need to just be better and then just accept, if my time comes, that is just my time and that's really it. So I don't know. It's just, it's weird. I don't know if the environment will be set for that kind of change, because it feels like the environment is set for the status quo, is that we have to, you know, we have to leave room for growth, and we have to, you know, think about this person's feelings and all this different kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because right now we're in a place where it's like, we want to do this, but it still feels right and makes us feel good to do this. And that's how you get people who are like, yeah, they're Nazis, but.
Yeah.
I'm like, there should be no but in that conversation. They're Nazis. What are we doing to eliminate this issue of said Nazism? But yeah. Shantae.
Yo.
Go ahead and you got anything?
Just continually shouting out everybody who shares the show and listens to the show and downloads the show. And shout out to the new cat we may have. I don't know yet. It's a stray cat, but I think it was somebody's house cat. But maybe that cat is now wants to be our house cat. I don't know. But
how long has it been coming around?
It started this past Sunday, which was Lily's birthday. So shout out to her. So shout out to her birthday. The cat showed up, and the cat has been coming around. And so we fed the cat the first time it was there, because we didn't know. It was just being nice. But the cat hasn't left. The cat might still be in the house right now. So
Have y'all given the cat a name?
The kids named it Marigot, but I think they named it Marigot from Bloodborne, but I think they're just mispronouncing it. I think the character's name is actually Murgo or Marigot or something like that, but they are calling it Marigot. But that is as far as we know the cat's name. And I think she was somebody, I think she's definitely more house cat than outside cat, because I got like litter and a box, for a litter box and everything. And she went right to the litter and didn't think anything of it. She just she knew what time it was. So that's at least a plus. It's not necessarily like having to, I guess, train the cat to use the litter box. So hopefully that stays, because then if not, she may have to go.
It's on the floor. I have had still no success with Bloodborne. I want to love it, but now Spider-Man is out. And so that first thing that popped out of that one room, like the very first room that you have to fight something, it will be probably the one thing that killed me for like a while. But that happened to me where I walked away from a game for a while about a year ago. A little bit more, because it was like December. I started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and something came up, and I stopped playing it and didn't look back until I went back to it and started from the beginning and played that game for like 172 hours. Mm-hmm. So you're not the first person to tell me that Bloodborne is a great game. I know that it's a great game because your kids are naming cats after characters in Bloodborne.
Yeah, they love it. I can't stand it. I don't. It's gross.
It's gross?
Oh, yeah. There's... you haven't... Obviously, you said you haven't got very far in it, but it's just some of the characters... the whole thing is the characters are turning into monsters. That's what the Bloodborne is. When those people that you're fighting have been corrupted by something. Now, they haven't got so far that I really understand what's happening in the game. Mm-hmm. But there's just animals and things. There's a pig that's got 50 million eyes on it or something. Ooh. It's huge, and it's it squeals at you, but it's super loud, and it runs at you, and it's ugly. The further you get into the game, the more heinous, I keep saying that word tonight, but the more just fucked up everything looks. And I think it's because they're further along in whatever corruption they're dealing with. Those guys in the first part, it just looks like, oh man, something's wrong with these guys. Something's going on. But they still kind of, they're human. You get further into the game and all kinds of stuff just looks messed up.
I'll get there after Spider-Man. Right now I'm 24% done with Spider-Man because I keep going off on side missions. I'll be swinging down the street, going towards the main mission, the next thing, and it's oh, look to the left. There's something there. Let me go look. Oh, there's people who are fighting in the street. I better stop that. Oh, there's a photo opportunity over here. I better take that picture. And it's by the time I turn back around, what was 200 meters away is now 1,942 meters away. And it's well, as long as I'm over here, might as well do this other side mission. So,
okay. It's open concept, Grand Theft Auto or whatever. You can kind of pick and choose when you want to jump into the missions and all that different. Is that what it's like?
Yep.
Okay. See, I may need to play it because I like those kind of games. I saw it at the Redbox and I thought about getting it, but then didn't. So I might, jump on that.
It's amazing. It's a really good game. It was worth the wait. And I'm glad I bought a PlayStation 4 for it way back in November. Oh, also, while it's on my mind, happy anniversary to my braces.
Shout out.
At this point last year, I was mad as fuck.
Oh, man. You were in so much pain.
Right.
So much pain.
Right. And now I sit here and think about that. I wish I could go back to that because that caused me to lose 50 pounds. And as soon as I got used to these braces, all bets were off, people. I was I'm making up for lost time and missing food, and it's all back. I don't mind it. I miss the gym. I mean, I could go back to the gym. It's not the same without Nisha being there.
Yeah.
So I haven't been back, but even when I was going to the gym, I didn't feel like I was going to the gym to lose weight. I was just going to the gym because I liked the people and I liked the activities that we were doing, and I like challenging myself, but I also like not having to do that stuff. So it's like you know what I'm saying? It's like a weird place that I'm in, where it's like I want to go back, but I'm not doing it at home. It's not the same at home, and I'm not going to do this at home. I'm just going to wish. But yeah, this was a interesting episode. Stephanie, y'all can check her out on the Mocha Minutes podcast. I never really said this because she's on the show like so much, but y'all can check her out on the Mocha Minutes podcast. She's also on the Why So Serious podcast, which is an excellent, excellent show, y'all. Y'all should really check that out. I was on there last week talking about Insecure. That was definitely interesting.
And oral sex.
Hey, where the fuck have you been?
I have no idea.
Like that, you cannot do that. My heart. Oh my god. Oh my god, Stephanie. Oh my heart. Oh fuck me, crooked.
Oh.
Shit. Where the fuck did you come from?
I'll leave that to the professionals.
Oh shit. Where'd you go? Are you okay? What happened? I
have no idea. I have no idea. That is scary as hell.
Are you okay? Feels like a ghost story.
Yeah.
You're okay though, right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Okay. You missed the story about the dude who went into the sushi place and ate like 100 plates of food. And I was talking about how I went to Captain Billy's Crab Shack or Captain Billy's Crab Hut or whatever it was out in La Plata, Maryland. And we were in there for 4 hours.
Wait, La Plata?
Yeah. Yeah, right there outside of Waldorf. I'm still trying to figure out why niggas hate Waldorf as much as I do. I have reasons. I live there. Y'all just all treat Waldorf like it's Pigpen from the Peanuts. Which also, that poor little kid.
That sounds about right. It's dirty. I'm kidding.
But yeah, no, we were talking about how it was easy to eat there for 4 hours because the crabs in Maryland are like tiny as fuck. And you have to eat like 20 of them to get the size of a regular crab out here in California. And you weren't there to say anything back, and I got worried.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Well, yeah, Maryland crabs aren't the same as like, they're not the same size as like a Alaskan king crab or a Dungeness, but they're so good.
Okay. Well, I was just telling everybody about, the shows that you're on. And the work that you're doing.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. No, you're okay, right? Now I'm scared. I'm not scared. I'm just kind of...
No, I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you scared the shit out of me.
I'm so sorry. You know what that reminds me of? On Why So Serious, which is so dope. So, they talk about, TV and comic book and everything. They talk about everything TV, and from the quote unquote nerdy perspective. And they have a guy on there named Mike, and they also talk about black shit. And they had a guest on, I think it's the ladies from Two Woke Girls, and they were just talking about black shit. And they're like, "Oh, did Mike leave?" And all of a sudden he goes, "I'm here." Like, oh my god, it was so funny. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, goodness. But, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm interrupting.
No, you're not. This is Single Simulcast, episode 318. Y'all be good. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
This is Single Simulcast.